and welcome to the Withered Flowers podcast, where we talk about the explosive manhwa Tears on a Withered Flower by Beom. This is Auntie Laura, and with me tonight we have the Study Bunny, and we also have Digital Girl. And how are you ladies doing
Hey,
tonight?
hanging in there.
Tired. Excited.
Yeah, I hear you. Are we ready for tomorrow?
No.
So
Absolutely not.
at the time of this recording, we are waiting for, what is it, chapter 74?
Yes.
Yeah, we're waiting for chapter 74, so God only knows what we're gonna see once that chapter comes out. So speaking of chapter 74, with the way that the chapter ended, we see our couple being chased, right? But before that, we get an interaction between Director Baek and Taeju. So what I kind of wanted to talk about with this episode is I kind of wanted to talk about the family dynamic of the Beom family, since now we finally got like an interaction between Taeju and Director Baek. So what are you guys' thoughts? We'll just start there.
This family is rife with tension and conflict. And I wish I knew who's on whose side. I can make an assumption, but man, is this an unhappy family? This is my first impression.
Oh, definitely.
Super unhappy. I love the Beom family for Tears on a Withered Flower. They're my favorite part of the story, because we barely know enough. But when we get new information, it's as if I'm going into this new aspect of the world that Gay has created, and you're just like, I actually don't want to know. You know, when you get like a piece of pie and you're like, okay, actually this has raisins in it and I don't like raisins. That's how I feel. The first thing that I want to talk about is just like how scary it is actually that Taeju never finished his investigation, and there's just people like lurking in the corners, and then the Taeha is just so used to it. That's something that was personally bothering me about this chapter, like how Taeha is used to it, and then also the fact that Haso has suffered so much, she was able to clock it right away, because his monologue was saying two, no, is a three. He's acting out of character. We don't know who's the he's referring to, either if it's his brother or his dad. So this is probably not the first time they have done it. He's like, his presence is noticeable. He wanted me to know that I'm being followed, I guess. So then he holds on to Haso. And he's like, should I go take care of it for a moment? I'm used to hiding my emotions. Let's just do what I've always done. Since Naheso is here, it's better to ignore it. Unless it's Jay, Naheso probably hasn't realized we're being followed anyway. And then they start their chase. But I'm just like, dude, first and foremost, how often does this happen where you have people just stalking you this much? Do you know what I mean? And I'm just like, Taeju is terrifying. The men are like hunting them down, and you're just like, this is not actually good, because you don't know who's who. You don't know who sent the men out. You just know that men were sent out. But if it's Tahi's men, that's not a good thing. And if it's Taeju's men, it's not a good thing. And you're just like, this is not good. This is not good, actually.
Question for you guys, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No.
So my question is, what do you think would happen when they catch Taeha and Haesu? Do you think they're going to be taking them somewhere? Do you think, what are we feeling about this situation? Like, if they were to get caught?
I think we're at a breaking point in the story where it's not going to stop with a simple chase. I think that they're going to be taken before Teju. Now,
Mhm.
like to follow the conversation and the details and topics that Study Bunny brought up, I
Mhm.
honestly think that this is a combination of Teju getting tired of not having enough information about what his son is doing. Lee J
Mm,
Mhm.
literally bought in to be a closer line to Teha,
Mhm.
which didn't really happen because Teha line, Teha and Lee J bonded. Lee J decided to pledge his allegiance basically to Teha. So information's not coming through. Teju has already said that I don't know, like I'm not very close to my son. And honestly, he's probably had people, you know, following and trying to report back, but Teja has been very meticulous about evading this this situation since he was young. And now I think Teju's not in a place where he can wait anymore to
Mhm.
discipline his son. So I
yeah,
think
I think I agree with that statement.
yeah,
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 because I mean, if
we're
you
in
really
trouble.
Yeah, I definitely agree because I kind of feel like, given the last chapter and then, what, I think at the beginning of this chapter, with the interaction between Director Beck and Taeju, I really feel like time is becoming of the essence, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Especially with this event that Director Beck is hosting and where she's
Yeah.
trying to like showcase Tahi. So I don't
Hmm.
know. Like I kind of feel like Taeju is trying to make some kind of a move here,
Yes.
Mhm.
but I don't exactly know what it is. And it's kind of hard to speculate, in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if you ladies feel that way, but I kind of feel like there's so many ways that this could go as far as like planning. Is
Mhm.
he just trying to keep Taehi? I mean, sorry, not Taehi, Teha. Is he trying to
Mhm.
keep Teha like on the DL? Is
Mhm.
he trying to, bring him to heel to control him a little bit better? I don't
Mhm.
know. I feel like this could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on this.
I mean, truth. Because
He's such an opaque character where we don't know what
yeah.
his true loyalties are. We don't
Mhm.
know, like, we know kind of what the motivation is, but it's not directly from Teju's mouth. We don't know anything about Teha and Teju's like past and how they've interacted. It's clear that
Yeah.
it hasn't been good, but
Mhm.
we don't. I'm curious. I'm freaking curious. Like,
Mhm.
how is this going to go down? And what is he going to say when he brings Teha before him? And I know Nahe, they wouldn't have done this if they didn't intend for Nahe So to also be looped up and brought in as well.
See, guys, I never like remember when we were saying that, oh yeah, kidnapping's gonna happen. I didn't know they were both gonna get kidnapped at the same time. And I think that's also partly what's stressing me out this week because I'm like, that's such a dramatic way to um that's such a dramatic way to have what is it called? The identity to
Separation.
be exposed. Yeah, to like have the identity be exposed, but it's also like who ran it, who did it. Um yeah, it's just like that's so, that's so dramatic.
It
Like it's
is
extremely
Is, yeah.
dramatic.
crazy.
It's
Like,
extremely dramatic. Yeah.
Because, I
It
mean,
is.
if you really think about it, I mean, we, up to this point, we've always figured that it would be Taeju that would have all the power and that he would have, like everything at his fingertips. But I almost kind of feel like that might not be the case. Like after seeing, that conversation with him and Director Beck,
Mhm.
especially now that she wants to, show Taehi off,
Mhm.
and then even she goes so far as to say, "Oh, well, you know, he's sensitive and he's not like you," and I'm just like, "Are we talking about the same guy?" You know, I
He's
mean,
a horse, so
yeah, and
that
I mean,
mom's
what's
trying to
weird?
protect his little boy, his
Yeah,
living embodiment.
100%.
Oh, sorry, let me stop.
No,
I
you're good. I mean, none of
Mother's
us like
love.
Taehi, so,
Funny
um,
face the
Listen,
mother can love. Nice.
Director Baek is a boy mom, and we all know the stereotype of a boy mom. Okay,
mhm. Oh, not my little darling angel.
my baby, fragile baby angel.
Yeah, your baby beat up his brother so much that he has mental health issues and can't sleep at night without having nightmares. He is so fragile and he's so kind. He will never, well, he's hurt more than a fly. He's hurt people. Nonsense.
Yeah. I just
I'm
kind
gonna
of want to know like what her opinion of, Taehi really is. And I also wonder like how much she really knows about his extracurricular activities, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, for someone who claims to love her son, we've not really seen her reach out to him. And I don't
no.
know if maybe this is something that's taking place in the background that we don't know about, or, maybe she's afraid to reach out to him because of Taeju.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Like
You
I
know,
get like a weird vibe from this. I don't know
yeah,
about you guys.
Laura. I had this theory in my head
Mm-hmm.
that Director Baek has an incorrect impression of her like bond with her son. Because if you think about it, when Tae landed on the scene, what was it? Chapter what?
I think it was like 20
What
something, maybe early,
23, 24, maybe? I can't remember.
something like that. Yeah.
21. After 21 is when he landed on the scene for the first time.
Landed on the scene, 21. Okay, so
After
when we
19 is
first get
when after 19 is when we got like the partial reveal. 21 is when we got his reveal at the end of the chapter. If I'm correct. No, it's not 21. Or is it it was 23. 23. My bad. It's 23, guys. It's 23. I try. It's the
it's
Well,
memory.
okay.
you have
So,
a better memory than I do, so.
so when he lands, right? He lands on the scene. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing he asks about is the chairman.
Mhm.
He says, "How's the chairman?" And then he asks the bodyguard, "How's his little brother?" Director Baek is not mentioned, and when we see them all together, Director Baek is not present at the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So these kinds of like dynamics, even
Mm-hmm.
in talking, like anything that Taehi's talking about, we haven't heard him mention his mother in any capacity, which is
Mm-hmm.
telling because she's going like storming Taeju's office in the previous to this last chapter, 72, and asking him for permission to allow her to debut their son, their adult son, and at the exhibition, which is a social scene. There's a lot of publicity. She's like, I don't want everyone to know there's fractures in our house and this, we're messy. But she's asking Taeju for permission, which of course would make sense because he's like the actual like pillar of this family and the power structure. But she like had this thing in my head from the conversation that she's under the impression that Teju's keeping Taiki away from her, which is
Ooh,
very plausible. But he seems to be
yeah.
running these streets just fine without any care or any mention of his mother. So I'm
No.
wondering, is the relationship what she thinks? Does she have an illusion of the closeness that they have? I mean, I
That's a
know
good
we
point.
like what's going on there? Maybe there's more fractures than she's aware of because she's probably, kept herself distant from the goings on simply because Taeju and she do. It does not look like Taeju and Director Baek um, get along at all. So what do we know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of feel like it's not. I kind of don't get the sense that it's not so much that they don't get along, but I kind of feel like they're just, you know, they're kind of doing their own thing and kind of just staying out of each other's way. That's how it comes across to me. Like, I mean, obviously we've said this before, it's a transactional relationship. They both did their duty, they got married, they had an heir, and now they're just kind of living their own lives, but I remember that we did talk about this in one of the chats. I think it might have been maybe the deep discussion, maybe,
Mhm.
where we were talking about, like when Director Beck, made a bigger appearance. We were kind of talking about the possible relationship that she had with Taehi. Because
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's weird that he didn't even mention anything about his mother. And then I didn't really put it together about the family dinner. Um, you know, I mean, if you would think that she would be there, to see her son. So I kind of wonder why she wasn't at that dinner, unless maybe it was because Teha was there. And maybe there's some kind of, you know, conflict between those two, so maybe that's why she wasn't there. I
Mhm.
can imagine it would probably be like really tense and awkward
Mhm.
between Teha and Director Beck. I can't imagine what that would be like. So I could kind of see why she wouldn't be there, but it is kind of weird that she's just kind of showing up now. I feel
Mhm.
like it's too convenient, but maybe that's just
Yeah.
me.
Didn't we get an indication in that chapter where Taehi initially appeared that he was staying in a hotel?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
He was staying with his
Um,
mom either.
in the English translation, yeah, even in the Temple translation, right over here, he said, "Let's just go to the hotel and get some sleep." I don't even know why I did not clock all that wave since then that they own the hotel, but now I'm realizing more and more chapter 31 may have more consequences than we can imagine because there were definitely people lurking because them employees probably talk. Those
Yeah.
employees definitely talk. They
They
talk.
do talk.
Oh
And
god.
he's not staying with his mother. So that man, I don't know. Like I have doubts about the parental bond between Director Baek and Taehi. Like it's just very very suspicious that doesn't mention her casually or in in passing at all. Like it's
Mhm.
like a taboo subject. So I'm wondering where the disconnect is.
We
So, do
just need
you think I'm sorry, Study Bunny, go ahead. I did not mean to
go
talk
ahead. You
over
go ahead.
you.
You go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Um, I was just gonna say, do you think that maybe the reason for the fractured relationship question mark between Taehi and his mother, do you think it could stem from maybe how she handled the whole thing with Taeha and Taeju's infidelity? Do you think that maybe he might harbor some like resentment for her putting up with it?
Mm.
I don't know. What do you think, Bunny?
I think so because I'm on chapter 44, and there was two times that we saw like how badly he wants the power of the chairman, not because of the fact that it's something that his family inherits, just because of the power it provides. in chapter 44, he was saying after that whole thing where he was trying his very best to get information out of that poor woman, that like, oh, the chairman's gonna make up his mind. There's no way that I'll let a single penny go to that B word. And then also in chapter 52, same thing. When he came onto the scene and what is it called? He came onto the scene and he was kind of saying to himself, like, oh, what is it called? I can't remember, but he was like saying that like everything is going to be all mine. It was when he was walking in. I don't know if it was the very next chapter. No. Actually,
Oh, yeah. I think I know the chapter you're talking about. I don't remember the number,
nope,
but
I'm on
yeah,
it.
it was like
Woke
when
up
you
at the crack of
first,
dawn this year. It's
yeah,
53.
the crack of
He
4
woke up with the
p.m.
crack of dawn, 4 p.m.
Hmm.
And he was saying to himself, like, I knew it, finally. Decided to pass everything down to your beloved son. The fact that you're telling me to start learning the hotel business first, when you've never when you never let me lift a finger in management before, means you've decided there's no time to delay. Although I don't particularly like the idea of having to work my way up from the bottom to claim what's rightfully mine anyway. You're so ruthless, even to your own children. By the way, tough luck, little brother. Then again, what did an illegitimate B word like you expect after struggling for so long? That's the difference between our classes. Don't worry, baby bro. Once your big brother here works hard and inherits everything, the first head to roll will be yours. So just sit tight and polish that neck of yours in the meantime. And then he just sees it for power and to just destroy the people who've quote unquote wronged him. I've seen too much of this man
It's,
today, and it's really pissing me.
you
It's like, oh my
know,
gosh, I
like
don't like this. I don't like him at
he
all.
is such a cliche of a Chable. Like he's such a cliche, a walking one. He's like, I
God,
am
yes.
entitled to the position that I'm going to get. There's no doubt, and there's like literally he's walking around with no doubt in his mind that
Mm-hmm.
he deserves
Mm-hmm.
the chairman's seat.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's doing nothing. Like he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been in the office in who knows how long, and he just feels like he's entitled to it, and that's
Yeah, he really
crazy
does.
because he's
You
not
know.
demonstrated. We haven't seen him demonstrate any aptitude other than having sex in a club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and honestly, I kind of wonder like where in the States he was staying, because I kind of want
Mm-hmm.
to say just by the way he was dressed, when we see him arrive, I almost want to say it was maybe someplace like Florida or maybe
Hmm.
California, because it had to be someplace that, must have like temperate weather, because one of
Yes.
the first things he says is, "Oh, it's cold here." Because I also have a feeling that wherever he was in the States, it was, you know, the city he was living in was probably also enabled, his like hedonistic lifestyle, I guess. For
Hedonistic,
lack
Yeah.
of a yeah, for a better way to put it. So, so to me, I feel like he must have been in some kind of party city.
Yes.
And because I mean, even like just getting off the plane, like the first thing you do is looking for women. Your butt has been sitting on a flight, from the States to Korea for like hours, and the first thing you want to do is get your junk wet in some like random vajay, So, I mean, it just goes to show you, like, I mean, not that I'm slut shaming him, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to do that, more power to you. I don't kink shame unless that is your kink, but the whole thing is that his priorities are really messed up.
Yep.
Like he doesn't, like we've talked about this before, like he doesn't want to work for what he wants. He thinks it should be just be handed to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't even think about his family really. Like he doesn't say anything about his mother. And then when he does talk about his father, it's all negative. Like, oh, he's so cold and this and that. I mean, obviously, this family does have its problems, and they could
Yep.
definitely benefit from some, like, family therapy, like big time. But I really wonder, like, what kind of damage did they do to Taehi to make him turn out like this? And I
Yeah.
think we kind of touched on that a little bit before when we had our episode about Taehi, but now that we're getting more about the Beom family and learning more about their dynamics, it kind of makes me wonder, what Director Beck tried, I really wonder what she tried to do to help her son, because to me, it's obviously that Taehi as a child struggled, and to be fair, I feel like he had a lot that he had to get used to in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, you just have a brother you didn't even know about. Your parents are not getting along because now you have this new brother. And not only that, but your father cheated. So because he doesn't love your mother. And to be fair, that's a lot for a child to handle.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that, this probably had the biggest effect on him?
I think
Probably,
so.
probably. Me too.
I think so. Do I still give Tahi any type of slack? No, because I don't see how beating a kid could make you a better person, and then years later you didn't do the work to realize, like, okay, this was my parents' fault. It wasn't the brother's fault for this. But people can just grow in age and not in maturity. So there's like, what do we do? What do you do? I really want to get just more info. I think that's what a lot of people who like to see the Beom family just want, like more
Mm-hmm.
info and more like interactions, especially about how Taeju is going to kind of play into this, because he is so hard to read. But
He really is.
the fact that he's still probably still looking, and now Taki is looking, and he just wants to see Heiso once, and now we're going to have an event where, okay, Taki's going to be able to see Heiso. We're going to see what his interactions and dynamics are going to be. Then we're going to see what Teju is going to do, and then we still have Taeha's past that we still have to go through, because that is very interconnected with the family. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
this doesn't look safe. This doesn't look like it's going to be warm and cuddly. This looks like I'm going to be dealing with a lot of subject matter that is just like, this is dark as hell to talk about, because yeah, we're going to have to deal with like abuse and like absolute neglect and all of that, because if he was emotionally neglected, then that obviously explains his behavior. But also, we're going to be looking into a man who has a very misogynistic and hedonistic lifestyle and has a vibranium spoon in his mouth. So who's gonna stop him?
You
God?
know, honestly thought after Taehi had discovered Naheso's existence and it was confirmed by the bodyguard that he would take a chance to like observe her from close. But of course, he does exactly what he's meant to do, and he disappoints because he's so lazy. He doesn't even indulge his curiosity in a timely fashion, and that kind of pisses me off because I kind of wanted it to be exposed that way. That like Taehi like appears before Nahiso, and she's like, "This guy looks like Teha, but he's not." And that would have been nice. She probably would have recognized right away the level of cruelty that exists in him because he doesn't really know how to hide it. He's kind of crude in his interactions with people when he's talking to them, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, but of course, Taehi lives up to the expectations of you should lower the bar. So here we are with that. But I'm gonna put something out here for you guys because I've had it in my brain, and it's like a little thing just eating away at my curiosity. what if, and this is only a what if, y'all. What
Mhm.
if the men, because we
Mhm.
know that Director Baek has goons. What
Mhm.
if the men
Yes,
are
too.
hers? Yeah, she has at least two. Let's say at least two, because we don't know how many, but they're very tall. Okay, so she has her own
We've
goons.
seen them before, though. Digital
Yeah, but
Girl.
we've seen her two goons. But remember, we cannot make assumptions because we don't know what power structure she has, because she has power in her own right, or else
Mhm.
she wouldn't be
That's true.
throwing a
Mhm.
celebrity ridden, publicity ridden exhibition, right?
Mhm.
What if, what if those
Mhm.
goons are Director Baek and they're trying to detain Teha?
Ah, I see what you mean. So basically, what they're
Because
trying
of
to
the
do
exhibition.
is put them
Oh,
on
Yeah.
lockdown so that way Teha doesn't steal the
wait.
show.
Wait, these are hers then. One has the darker hair, and then one has the lighter hair that
Yeah.
we saw in the chapter.
Yeah. It's been bothering me because I'm like, I don't know, man. It could be Teju, but it could be, I mean, like, Director Baek could have sent her own goons to detain him. And
Wait,
don't
wait. How
remember
would
we
she
got
have
that.
known? How would she? Okay,
Why
so if
wouldn't
they're
she
just looking at
know?
no, okay, so she's
So
just
maybe
walking
it
into a gold
wasn't
mine.
just Taeju that was sending people out. Because I mean,
Mhm.
we do know that there have been bodyguards that have been following them. So it would stand to reason. Okay, I'm gonna
Um,
cook for a second. So, let me stir this pot real quick. So, what if,
Mhm.
just to piggyback off of what Digital Girl said, so what if Director Beck got wind that there was some shenanigans going on, and she noticed
mhm,
there was a lot of activity, with bodyguards following people and whatnot.
mhm,
And not to mention, she's got to know that Teha is working at the family business.
Mhm.
There's
mhm.
no way of getting around that. So what if she heard about, Taeju going to Teha's apartment to look around, and because of that, she started doing some legwork of her own. Um,
That's fast though. She works quick then. She works
yeah, I
fast.
mean,
No,
honestly, she would kind of have to,
I
especially if she's trying to like show off her, you know, her perfect baby boy, at this exhibition, she would I would think that, she would have to take steps to make sure that he looks good in the eyes of the public. I mean, I don't
Yep.
think any amount of Clorox wipes is gonna make him look squeaky clean. Um, because I'm sure he's got a reputation. But,
In the
I don't
streets
know.
and in the sheets.
Yeah, you know,
Well,
walking
you
STD, but, anyways.
wait,
she wore
wait,
condoms.
right.
She wore
Wait, wait,
condoms.
wait, 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 wait. But this also
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense because um they're a hotel conglomerate, right? Teju, we've already established that there's a good possibility Teju doesn't want to do anything because he's actually trying to protect Teha. And the thing is that now we have Director Baek, who is actually on Tahi's side. So these are the same two bodyguards that we saw. And the thing is that they would have to act quickly because it didn't make sense. All of the bodyguards that work with Tahi and Teju, right? They work very, 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 very like quiet and stuff. Even Teha said,
Mhm.
see, guy number one, the light hair guy, right? Because you were saying like in one conversation that can be McSweaty because McSweaty, right? He's very,
Yep.
very he's told not to go. And then obviously, so this means that who is this dude then affiliated with? Would he be affiliated with Director Baek? Because, but how would they know to be at Nahiso's workplace though? And then obviously we have the last guy who appeared at the end of the chapter and who was chasing them, and you're just like, oh, this dude. This is the same guy.
Yep.
Oh shit. What was
Or
Who's the guy with Lee J?
Or
Who's the guy with Lee J though?
or
Mm-hmm.
what if, hear me
Mm-hmm.
out, walk with me. What if
Mhm.
this guy, the one who's in front of like the adult hotel or the store or whatever, what if that guy is with Director Beck, but the guy at the barbecue place was sent by Tae.
So that means we have all three family members basically chasing Teha at the same time. If this is
That's
Yes.
Director
crazy.
Baek, all right, I can call money on this then. Director Baek's guy because they're chasing, right? We have Lee J's, we have Taeju's guy because they would definitely know by this point where Naheso works. No doubt about that. And if it's not Naheso, if it's not Taeju's guy, this is Tahi's guy. But Tahi was like, don't send someone else. You gotta, do it yourself, or you have to be secret or whatever. So I'm gonna say Taeju. And then the guy before here is McSweaty. That's Tahi's man. Because he still has to do an
Yeah.
investigation. And Saw
And
Teha.
don't forget, y'all. Don't forget, we do have that cover with Teha tied up. We do have that cover with Teha tied up. So don't forget that. I don't think
Chapter
that
was
would be a Teju. He has bruises too.
the chapter was
Well, to be fair though, he also has his pants unzipped.
Well, I mean, he's too
Um,
sexy for those pants anyway. But he was beaten up and he was tied to a chair. And what we did see in the scene is that we didn't see Naheso's body, but we saw a hand.
her hand
Um,
though. But
yeah.
yeah,
wasn't that supposed to be symbolic of the fact that like Nahiso can use him any way he wants, and
I
he
don't
will still
think
be happy
no.
about
How
that?
will we know? Maybe
I I
you know that Gainim does things to us because it's fun. He likes to
I
hurt our. He doesn't kiss the brick. You want to believe in
he
symbolism, but
needs it.
most of the time it's translated. Not that cover. I'm talking about the one where he's tied with a rope
I know.
to a
I wanted to
chair.
Yeah.
say I think this cover is going to happen because so far we've
Yeah.
already fulfilled the events. So far we've already fulfilled the events of cover 40 and 41. And this is 40, 41, 42, and 43. These the covers have been fulfilled so far. She's starting to question Teha, either not
Mm-hmm.
like physically question, but she's actually questioning him. And now she has proof of the questioning. The fact that he wears rich clothes, the fact that he does these hours, she has it. She's conflicting with herself. That's what happened in the dream. And we can see that Teja slowly is taking the gloves off because he doesn't have to really hide anymore because of what Naheso did by grabbing his hand and then running with him. Now they have to be caught. And I think this is the final cover for Teja's identity. That's what a lot of the theorists on the server were saying. Like this has to still happen.
Wait, Bunny. Make sure you say what chapter that cover is in when you're talking
43.
about it.
This is cover 43.
Yeah,
This is
because
Yeah.
the cover for chapter 43, and the criminal AU spanned the covers for the criminal AU spanned from chapter 40 to 43. So everyone has been saying those covers are actually for something very poignant in the story. Now, the thing is that now I'm realizing that like all three of the family members, we're having a whole family reunion with the new member of the family who probably doesn't even want to be a part of this. How is this gonna work? How
Oh,
is
looks like
this
it's gonna
gonna
be a
work?
family reunion though. Whoever gets to him
This is
first is
this
gets
not a
to.
family reunion, a family meeting. Let me say a family meeting.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a very, very intriguing family meeting with a new member who's like, what the fuck? That's what we're gonna have, and that's oh boy, that's what I'm
Well, we'll
thinking.
see, won't we? Are we gonna get
yeah.
tied to a chair versus cry in the Maybach? We don't know yet.
Well, I for one am just going to be here for the ride,
Yeah,
cuz honestly, this could go like any way.
yeah,
Um, and that's kind of one of the things that I appreciate about this comic so much is that, every time we think something, is going to happen one way, it kind of goes another way.
Yeah.
Like when I set up the discussion for, chapter 75, I think, what did I put? I put smut incoming question mark. um
Maybe.
yeah, but I mean, we never know. It's really hard to know what we're gonna get, Like sometimes we can kind of predict, but and sometimes we're right, but this
Mhm.
is definitely a story where it doesn't follow like the usual tropes. And
Mhm.
I'm not mad at that. Like I really want to know about the guy that Lee J beat the shit out of.
Mhm.
Who
Um,
looks so happy about it. He's a
yeah.
masochist.
Yeah, and I mean, because we did get the one chapter where, we have, Lee J, and he's like, oh, things have been kind of quiet, so he
Yep,
knows that there's something up. Like, I feel like Lee J, has really good instincts.
he
And I
does.
know we covered this on another episode, our man Lee J. We know that he's been in, this type of lifestyle for a very long time. So for me, it makes sense that he would be able to clock when something's off. And I have to give it to him that, he figured this out a couple of chapters ago. Um, and then now he's like seeing it and, doing his job basically. So I really wonder like what's going to happen with Lee J.
Oh my god,
Is
I hope,
are yeah, like
God,
is he going to have to save them, like rescue them,
or
or
is he
is
gonna
he
rat? Oh
yeah.
Lord, because we know that Lee J can be bought technically. If with enough money, he's just gonna bounce. Um,
But he hasn't the money is there.
he's
He
not going
hasn't
to. I know he's not going to do
ratted.
it. He's not gonna do it because it's already established from chapter 51 that he cares way too much about Teha and obviously not Heiso, because despite the fact that he doesn't say, hey, what is it called? Like he thinks a certain way of Naheso. He recognizes Naheso works hard. He recognizes also
Mhm.
that Teha loves Naheso, and he cares about Teha. He's probably the only one in his family that cares about him. But the fact that we're going to have probably a three-way with the fam is actually a whole lot worse, because it's like Director Baek probably just only wants to go for Teha just so he can be hidden for the exhibition. And then obviously, Tahi's man definitely knows where the what is it called? The barbecue shop is, because they know like that's where they got the information from Do Ji. And then Taeju is definitely always keeping watch because he knows that Director Baek's gonna do something, because she mentioned the exhibition. So because she already knew, oh shit, she knows that Teha's in management too. Like,
Yep.
oh, I heard that you put my son in management, so he heard that Teha was definitely in management as well. This is not good. This is not good.
Yep.
This is not good.
It's going to be interesting to see like
No,
what happens.
this is actually bad.
Um
Good.
mhm.
I
I mean,
Um.
we
mean,
in for it.
if we're not being too literal with how Director Baek talks about Taehi, where she's like, he's sensitive and fragile. I mean, she isn't wrong because he has fragile masculinity and he's very
Oh God.
sensitive to the fact that his brother is working there. He basically just ran away when he saw him in the elevator. He's like, I'm so mad. He had a full
Yeah,
tantrum.
you're not wrong on that. I mean, I really do wonder though, like I know we've talked about like Taeju as a father like in a previous episode.
Mhm.
Um
Mm,
and I'm
loosely.
wondering it yeah. So I'm wondering if because of like how precarious the marriage must have been,
Mhm.
it's obvious to me anyway, that
Mhm.
I don't think Taeju really took an interest in him.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Um, and
Doesn't
I
look like it.
feel Yeah, and I feel like that is reflected in his behavior, talking
Mhm.
about Taehi. Because I mean, I feel like it almost feels like he is going out of his way to be the complete opposite of his father.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like he's very loud. He
Classic.
wears loud clothing. He sleeps with anything with a vagina. I mean, he is just the
So
complete opposite. And it makes me wonder if he's doing that as a way to kind of get back at Teju. Like, oh, look at me. I am nothing like you. Like that's to me, that's what his behavior kind of seems like.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It
Oh
does. It
yeah.
does.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
problematic too.
Like at the dinner after the post, after the dinner when he went into the bathroom and threw up because he was so stressed out from the tension. He's like talking to the bodyguard about the fact, and it was what chapter 27 and 28. He's talking to the bodyguard
27.
about the yeah that Taeha waltzed up into the dinner looking like an exact replica of his dad, and he's like he looked like more like my dad than I ever could. Like you can
Mm.
see the resentment. Um, he reeks with resentment. Like it's like clinging to him like a skunk has sprayed him down with it, and no
Yeah.
shower can rinse it off. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if his identity as an antithesis of his father is his coping mechanism that is really having a poor effect on his relationships in the trust factor that would have probably earned him the seat that he wants.
Mhm.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I still feel like, I mean, I still feel like there was very poor parenting,
Oh yeah.
with, obviously with both sons for different reasons. But I feel like they could have done more to try to help Tahi out. Like just sending, like, I'm really surprised that they sent him off, to the US, you know. So I really wonder what the circumstances were, and why
Yeah.
they just packed him off to the US. And then, he was away for what, like 2, 3 years, I think. Um,
Mhm.
so I really wonder like what the circumstances were around that. Because
Well,
I feel like that would give us a lot of insight.
isn't that a common trope in manhwa when there's like a chaebol son that like they go to school and sometimes they get that credibility from going to school in the United States and graduating from like a college in the United States and for business or does something over there, then they come back to Korea. I mean, I honestly think he got packed up in a shipping crate and sent away expediently, but there's a level of credibility to be had with um like a rich son going abroad to learn business and then coming back and exercising his prowess in front of all of the business associates. But of course, I don't think that's the case with Tahiti because he's not doing that. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
I
they
see
don't
that as
really
a common
mention
trope.
that either. Like they don't mention that he was abroad for like school or, to learn business. So,
Nope.
I mean, I almost kind of feel like they sent him away because he was just being a problem. Like
Yeah,
do you get that impression?
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
He's
I
giving,
mean, it's
go ahead, girl, give me nothing. He's giving me nothing good to work with.
yeah, you're not wrong. Oh, Tehi, you poor thing. All
Just
you know is how
resentment.
to think with your penis.
Yep, that is exactly his logic. Every time he has like a deep conversation, it's centered around relationships with women. And then his puzzlement at his brother not being running through the town, selling his meat wherever it's possible to have a charcuterie platter. It's very concerning.
Yeah, I picked up on that too. I thought that was really interesting that he was like, "Oh, doesn't he know how to use his man parts?" Like, you know what? You don't need just because you see a hole, it doesn't mean that you need to stick your dick in it. Like it's
Hello.
okay. It's okay not to. You know, like you can pass by a hole and not put your dick in it, and it's totally fine. You
It's
know,
gonna be
like
okay.
yeah, you're okay. You don't need to spread your seed, dude. You know, like ew. Um, you know, but I wonder too if a lot of that just has to do with the fact that he just never came to terms that his dad like cheated. You know, cuz I feel like, you know, sex is almost like a rebellion thing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm just like talking out of my butt or something, but I feel like Taehi has a lot of hangups, you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like he doesn't even know it. Like everybody else can see it but him.
That man is 28 years old and he is still operating like a horny teen who just got a freshman year in college living in the dorms. And that is concerning in so many ways because he has no discretion. And we're seeing that because of just like his character and how he talks about women and relationships and his father and how he actually like conducts himself, you know, out in the streets and how everybody knows about his reputation in hotels, but they're very discreet about saying things simply because that, you know, you say it to the wrong person and that could get you potentially merged because this strange amorphous family. I'm not quite sure what they do for outside of the hotel business, but they do other things. So they're very cautious of keeping it quiet. And it, you know, even Lee J said, we don't know. I didn't know much about the family other than the whispers that they had a son. So, you know, like he doesn't have discretion. And that's a freaking shame because he's too old for that shit.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, I don't know. Like I feel
It's
like,
never
you
a good
know,
thing when Lee J is scared. Lee J is like our only sane person in this manhwa, and if he's scared, then I think we should be scared. And I think because people, this is done on purpose. The author, you know, when you're just like
Yep.
the author knows what's up and decided to
Yep.
control the flow. So
mhm.
when it eventually happens, people be like caught off so off guard. And unless you're actually reading the story, you're just like, hmm, because it didn't make sense. People were complaining for a while now that the story was dragging, and it was just as if like the author was just trying to set up little hints and stuff, so when it came we would be in the know. But after like chapter 71's monologue with Lee J, and then now his like feeling of impending doom in this chapter, this is not good. This 74 was bait. 74 was bait.
Mm-hmm.
To myself when I read the translation, I'm like, this chapter is bait. I don't know how to put it, but this chapter is bait. It's too mellow. Something's up. Something's up.
There
A
to me
critical
there was a
moment.
lot of tension
Yeah.
in this, you know,
No, like
most
underlying
recent
tension. I
chapter.
don't like it. Why is it there's a guy following? Heiso knows there's people following. She's wondering to herself, are there people following you? Lee J knows who's following. There's no way this man doesn't know. That guy said after he got his head banged into a wall, who is following and is probably on his way to Teha right now. He probably already knows where Teha is. This is not good.
You
Yeah,
know,
we're gonna be in for it.
you know what's wild? Whoever it is came in to
Mhm,
go get Nahe So because there's no reason they would have been in the barbecue spot.
Yep. That's why I think the guy that, you know, Lee J beat up, that's why I
mhm.
think it's somebody that Taehi sent, you know. Because, I
I
mean,
don't
what would
know.
be the
I
point
don't
of
think
that guy
so.
really being there, you know?
No,
He
because
said no, not to be
no, I
found.
I disagree with you respectfully, Auntie Laura, because of this. Lee J wouldn't make this face that I have up on the screen right now if it was Tahi. Because number one, Tahi does not give a shit about Lee J. He does not. He
Nope.
also doesn't know that Lee J also does a lot of stuff for covering and stuff like that. So when he said, fuck, I knew something felt off, it was done on purpose. He was deliberately sent to be exposed. Did he only send him to meet or the only person that Lee J really cares about being caught by is the chairman.
Mm, that's
That's
true.
Yeah.
the
That's
only
true.
person. The last time this man made that face was chapter 50. At the end of the chapter, when he was with his sugar baby, or I don't know what's going on with that whole situation with that man.
Sugar mama.
With his mama or something. I don't know who's
She's an
giving the
older
sugar, or
lady.
he's getting the sugar. But when he made this face, and this is the last time he made that type of face. That's the only face he knows when the chairman is after him. Teju
I
never
mean,
stopped his investigation after chapter 51. He never stopped it. He never did. He never did. It was weird that he stopped all of a sudden. That was a warning. The warning is gone. 2
I'm
strikes,
gonna
you're out.
interject here.
Yes.
Here because just addressing Auntie Laura about Heihi. Heihi said that Naheso is not good enough to like use as a instrument, like to show to bring the director Teju. He said that. So he wouldn't go through all of the trouble of like causing a scene because he already told his bodyguard, don't get caught. My brother's like an animal. If you do get caught, I'm not gonna save you. He already dismissed Nahe, so it was like that relationship's gonna be over in what, like a month or two? She's not good enough to use as a tool. I just want to see what she looks like to see what kind of woman would be like have the audacity to deal with a younger man. So I don't think he would orchestrate this whole like um ambush in order to like just see Nahe so that's why I don't think it's Tehi.
Well, he did also say that even though, the excuse me, the information wouldn't really be useful. It wasn't really information he could use with the chairman, but he did mention the director. So maybe it was direct. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of how to put it. So maybe by proxy, it was Taehi, but it was actually Director Baek that sent that guy.
Maybe.
It doesn't
I
matter.
don't know. I know I'm reaching.
No, it doesn't matter who sent who. We're fucked. It doesn't even matter who sent who. We are fucked because
We're
it
not
doesn't matter.
We're not
It
fucked with
doesn't
this.
matter.
We just get on the ride. Get on the ride.
Girl,
Everybody's
Yeah,
on
pretty
this
much.
ride. You ask
I
for
am
it.
bounded hand and foot. I am bounded hand and foot about to hit
You were
TF
over
Inferno.
there.
Let me spiral for 10 seconds. I'm putting a timer on for 10 seconds of a study bunny spiral. So let me have this. I will time myself when the damn buzzer blows. I blow. I finish. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who because they know we're not Hazel. Not Hazel is there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There. I'm done. 10 seconds is up.
Well, just gonna snipe and snark because you've been setting up prayer circles and casting incantations because you wanted Teju to find the damn sonogram. What you think was gonna happen when you found a sonogram? You thought they were gonna Shangri-La and have a little like a tea
When
party?
I thought
That
he was going to find the sonogram, I thought he was going to kidnap Hazel and kidnap Teha. I did not know that these two were going to be on the chase with that poor ass teddy bear. And Tahi would have already found out at this point because I didn't clock that. I didn't clock when Tahi was going to find out. And I didn't clock that the mama was in this too.
see, you gotta
I
watch what
didn't.
you ask for.
Girl, there was
Yeah, you
no.
always keep saying. What's funny about this to me is how Study Bunny is always saying, oh, we ask for plot and we get it, and then we don't know what to do. Well, there you go.
There you go.
And I say
'Cause
that with love. You know that I love you deeply.
Just
Ship
love me. I'm here.
AC.
I'm here.
I wish
Uh,
you gotta watch what you ask for and watch how you ask for it. Because when you get it, voila, it is not going to be pretty. This is a dark romance. Okay, it's
oh
dark.
no,
Somebody's
I know
got
what's
their
a dark
face
romance.
slammed into the wall. We haven't seen the other NPC stalker since he was sitting in the construction site tied up. So yeah, like it would never be smooth. It's going to be dangerous. Everything's in danger. Murder time.
Murder time.
That's
Oh
all I
No.
boy.
got. I was like, yeah, Rough Riders, like literally Swiss Beats, DMX being resurrected. None of this is going to be easy, smooth, or sweet. I knew it. And now it's like a convergence of catastrophe. And we just have to like buckle our seatbelts, um, you know,
Put
I'm not
your
pray
gonna
our
be
roses.
tray tables up and
okay,
your
thought
seats in the
for
upright
15
position
minutes to think.
because this plot is about to land.
It's
No,
gonna hurt.com.
no, we pissed off a. Why did we think it was funny to piss off someone who definitely had good control of their story, and didn't think
I
it
don't
was
know.
not hit us in the ass? Why did people complain on Neighbor? Why did people complain on series saying that the author has lost control of the plot? Well,
They don't
I
know
don't.
because they don't know.
I don't think they
Everybody.
did.
Yeah.
I don't think they
I
did.
don't really see why people say that she's lost control of the plot.
Oh no, she
I
didn't.
mean that I
It was.
mean, I feel like this because the thing is that it's been building, and I mean, yeah, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, let's get more plot, but it's only more because I just really want to see more. Every chapter makes me just want more, so for me, I'm just impatient because I just love the story,
Mhm,
Yeah.
that's really all it is. Like, do I feel sometimes it drags? Yeah, maybe, but
mhm.
you can't have it can't be a roller coaster all the time. Like, you
No, that's gonna
know,
be.
exactly. Like at some point, like when you get to the top, you have to go to the bottom. You can't just keep going
Mm-hmm.
up and up and up. There has to be like ups and downs. And I think, you know, and I agree with, something that Study Bunny has said like over and over again. Like I feel like with some manhwa, they give fan service very quickly.
Yep.
They just, you know, make these stories and they start out good, but towards the middle, it's just kind of meh, because people are impatient. They want what they want, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm no different, but sometimes I feel like we, as readers and fans, we just need to be more patient. Like we need to let the author do what they need to do.
Let them cook.
Exactly. Let them cook. And if you think you can write a better story, well, go ahead.
Please be my
It's
guest because I
it's
can.
not as easy as you think. So I don't know.
Well, you've already seen a bootleg version of this. Anyway, and they did it poorly. It was absolutely awful. And if you know when an author has lost control of their story because the facts stop connecting together, the actual like story becomes disjointed, confusing, and there's plot holes all over the place. The thing about Tears on a Withered Flower is there are no plot holes. There's just places where there's breadcrumbs, and we don't know they're fucking breadcrumbs because Gainen waits
Mhm.
and controls the reins so tightly that the author is able to go back and point exactly where they showed that detail. Like literally, we had when Teha picked up Nahe So's phone while she was sleeping to open the phone. We got a flashback from when Teha first cornered her in the damn convenience store with the bruises to remind her that. And it was what was wild for me is because it was a reminder by picking up that bruise cream, the scar cream, to get her at the convenience store. He was trying to remind her that she had met him before at the bus stop when he was a teenager and put that cream on his face. And at the same time, he saw her lock screen pattern. Can you tell me that as a person, someone can continuously loop different points in
Well,
time and tie it?
yeah, I will say that I really like how, Gainem uses the, Chekhov's gun device for her plots. because sometimes it's not always apparent. Like with the whole thing with Dohiji, like I really thought, and I said it before, I really thought she was like an exposition character just to kind of, let us know, give us a little background on, Tehi or Teha, stuff like that. But I never in a million years imagined that like, she would be the one to,
Drop the dime.
yeah, exactly. And, you know, I mean, she's salty and it is what it is, but yeah, like I really like the way that she uses the Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
you
Like
know,
those are details.
yeah.
You have to be detail oriented. And yes, we're not patient. There are a lot of people who are used to blatant plots that
Mhm.
actually becomes, those dopamine hits. And I'm not. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy having my scalp peeled back and my wig yanked from my cranium every time. And that's why I keep coming back. I'm actually a roller coaster junkie. So I like that adrenaline rush when I go the ups and the downs and I anticipate it and I wait for it. And I get back on that roller coaster. It is what it is. This is what we're here for. We're here for a show.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting a show.
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we
Oh
are.
man. Well, I
It's
will say that now that Director Beck has made an appearance, I'm really hoping that we'll get more. I mean, I really want to honestly, like I would love if they did a chapter of Director Beck and Teju. I don't know if Gay will ever do that, but I
Mhm.
personally would love to see that. I would even go so far as to say I would love to see, you know, a flashback with those two. Like when they met each other, you know, like maybe some bits about their marriage, like early days in their marriage, maybe when Tahi was born. Like that's kind of the stuff that I want to see because I feel like it would fill some of the gaps in of what we know about them.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get that.
Open. I mean, I'm also still holding out for Teju Smut, which I don't think we'll get, but you know.
I'm gonna put it into the atmosphere for you because I would love to see it. All of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got
All
Lee J
of it.
Smut. So,
We did.
anyways,
Unexpected treats.
oh man, that was very unexpected. I opened up the chapter and I was like, "What?
Whoa.
What
Just
am I
whoa.
looking at?" And I am not mad at this. I was like,
Not at
"Damn,
all.
Lee J, look at you."
Look
Getting
at
your freak on, pulling that hair. I was like, "What?"
having a life. Everybody has a life. We're gonna see
Mhm.
some stuff because we can't. There's no way the story can continue at any point without the background of Taeju and how we got from this point to where from that
Exactly.
point to where we are now. I'm gonna wait for it. It's gonna be savory. It's gonna be tasty.
I think so. It's gonna be a fine meal for sure.
Mhm.
I just really like want to know more about Director Beck at this point.
Yes.
And that fabulous RBF that she has.
Yes.
Like, I mean, for RBF, man, she really rocks it. So, you
Yeah.
know,
With
it's a good look
style.
on her.
Mhm. It's a
you
good
know,
look.
it is. Gotta love that strong female energy.
Yep. She's scary though. She's a little
Yeah,
scary.
she really is. I mean, after seeing her now, I can understand why some of the employees like think she's scary. You know, she definitely gives like Karen alpha vibes kind of.
Oh yes. She's not gonna report you to the manager. She's gonna throw you into the Ham River. But that's okay. She has
Yeah.
goons
Well,
too.
she is the manager of everybody. No, I'm
Me.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We love you, Director Beck. Maybe.
Mm,
Maybe. Nah.
she would
But
throw us in the
anyways,
Ham
yeah.
River.
Oh man, we are in for it for sure.
Yeah.
We are in for it for sure.
Friday is minutes away, y'all.
Yeah, it is about 45 minutes at the time of this recording. So, yeah, I'm really wondering what kind of shenanigans the Baum family is gonna pull. And I really wonder like how Jesus is gonna take all of this as well. Um,
Sadly.
Unfortunately, Homegirl does not know what she is in for,
At all.
and I feel like this is gonna throw her for a loop and not in a good way.
Well, my lady was prepared to take a young gigolo off the street and give him a safe space. Now she has to now she has to be concerned with a young Chable and getting him back into his family because she's probably going to shovel him back into his family so hard and run in the opposite direction. Teha won't even know what to do at
Yeah,
all.
I agree.
Like, oh, you're not risking it all for me. No, sir. I could see her doing that right now. She's like, I love you. And because I love you, you must leave. Go be a family man.
Yeah, I really worry about how bad things are gonna spiral. Um,
Mm,
when she finds out because I feel like that's gonna be a defining moment in their relationship. And I maybe wonder if maybe that is what, like we always talk about like there might be a separation event. But I'm wondering if maybe that's probably gonna be what it is when she finds out, about him being a Chaebol. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were like some threats made, if she stays with him or whatever. And because she cares about him and she doesn't want anything to happen, she's probably gonna try to back away a little bit. And I'm wondering if that is what Lee J saw in his vision. Um,
yeah.
but I don't know.
We'll
I
see,
mean,
won't we?
yeah, we will. We will.
Eventually.
Yeah. I mean, it's an adventure. There's just so
Oh,
much that we don't have yet. So,
oh God. So much. So much
yeah,
to cry over. So much to be scared of.
I know that's right.
Yep.
Ugh. Well, I
Funny.
don't know. Yeah. I don't think I can say anything because I'm just in awe.
Wow. We're about to find out who let the dogs out in this next chapter.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'll be interesting to see, like, because I know we had a poll on the server. Um, so we'll see who's right.
We will. We might all be wrong. What if it's some
Yeah.
other stranger? Who knows? We just don't know.
I don't think Study Bunny can handle that.
I know.
guys, I can handle anything. What do you guys take me for?
Well, we don't want
See,
to stress you out.
I mean, I regularly stress you out, so this is my MO. I'm just like I'm running around screaming about gestation, cells dividing, and babies lurking in people's wombs. That's what I
Look,
do. If we're
look,
gonna talk about the
guys.
new addition to the Beom family, if we're talking about the
If
Beom family, we gotta talk about the new
if
addition
what do
that
you
doesn't
think
exist yet.
people's reactions are going to be if Teju's like,
Screaming.
I know what you've done. You need to get tested. And that's how we
It,
find out.
it was a lot of screaming. We're all gonna scream. There's gonna be people pulling their hair,
I know some people are
and
gonna
tearing their clothes.
I know some
Gnashing
people are
of
gonna
teeth.
drop it.
Lots of very biblical.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me, you
Oh
Yes.
my
know.
gosh, the last time we were having because okay, so then all the theorists are divided on who is like obviously Heiso's status right now. And like some people are like, why are you so obsessed with this? Or like, why are we talking about this? This is not gonna happen. And in my mind, I'm just like, well, You don't just bring up the question of, would you guys have kids one day, and then that not being something that's going to be implication in the
Yeah.
future. And it's like, I low key, you know, when you're just like, I don't know. I do not know at
It was
all.
already a plot device for Ari. And
Yeah.
because when it comes to the two couples, Ari and Menchal, Teha and Nahe So, it's always a juxtaposition between the two. And Gainan brought it up more than once about pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
and different conversation streams that involve both the main characters of this plot, the
Mm-hmm.
story, and like innocent bystanders who are given, advice to friends. This is going to continue to come back up until a homegirl is peeing on a stick, and it either has one line or two. So don't be surprised. And I took sex ed, okay, at the appropriate age to understand what bodies do. And I'm gonna just say it. Teha and Naheso do the things that make babies on a regular basis.
Yeah, they do.
And
They
this
do.
author makes it a point to show condoms scattered around when condoms are used. There has been nary a condom in any of their scenes where they're actually together, making um, friction burns on each other. So let us all just pray that she's not, but I wouldn't be surprised that if she is, because that would add to the extra chaos. And maybe I'm just a chaos agent, but you already know that's going to add a monkey in the wrench to everything else that's going on. That's either it's going to be a deciding
Hazel's been through
factor.
too much. Hazel's been through too much for that to happen to her. Please. Please,
Well, and
Lord.
that she got to stop busting it wide open. I'm sorry, like.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what though? Like I wondered this, and I'm just spitballing, but this is my
No
theory.
worries.
Like I kind of feel like the pregnancy thing doesn't have to happen like right away. You
It
know,
doesn't.
I kind of feel like this is something that's going to happen like maybe way later. Like maybe the
Mm.
end of the story is when you find out, that she is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
cuz sometimes like I know we've kind of talked about this before, but there's a lot of things that have to fall in place,
Mm-hmm.
for some, for women to get pregnant. Like sometimes it's really easy, sometimes it's hard, and since, we really don't know about her reproductive history, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, honestly, I think that it's very much possible, for her to get pregnant. I think she doesn't think so because of, that, shit ass Minchol. But I think that she is now that she's not stressed out, now that she's like actually eating, and getting rest, because she's not having to pick up after him. But I kind of get the feeling that maybe that is the end game. I don't, I
Mm.
kind of feel like there's too much going on right now, for a pregnancy to come up. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm thinking that it's probably going to be like way far ahead than where we're at now. Does that
It
make
Mm-hmm.
would,
sense?
yeah, it does make sense, and I would agree with you if this was a typical manhwa, because that always happens in the modern manhwa where they're like, oh, in the epilogue we get to see the kids and blah 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 blah. But there has been too many indicators that it's going to be messy. There's been way too many indicators. We've seen with other manhwas, like, oh, they have, like, let's say like, even in, I'm not even gonna mention this manhwa. I don't particularly like it, but homegirl got pregnant after a one night stand, basically.
I
Okay.
know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Now, did we get to see the kids for real? No, we didn't get to see them until the side story. but this manhwa that shall not be named is modern and it's realistic. If you're having unprotected sex, you are likely to have babies. Okay. We also know that from flashbacks from Teha and even from Nahe So that Nahe So before before Teha was working
Mhm.
herself to the bone to the point where she was always near passing out at work. Now she's not doing that anymore. So
Mhm.
and she wasn't even having the relationship between Naheso and Minchal had run pretty dry, and they both had admitted that they hadn't had an intimate relationship in a while. So we're not like all these things. It's a cultural reset. She's sleeping, she's eating, she's like, well, she was always eating. I don't know why people say she's malnourished. She was always eating, but she's not working herself
Well,
to the bone
just
anymore to
because you're
pass out.
eating doesn't mean you're well nourished. You
And then
know,
Mhm.
I know, but she's well nourished now. The breakfast she
yeah,
makes,
she is now.
she
Mhm.
she eats lunch, she eats dinner, she sleeps more than she's used to sleeping now. Like literally the stress factor is still there, but it's not the same. She's not working herself to the point of exhaustion, tears, and hospitalization. So those like when like the body weight comes into the fact is a factor. If you're like underweight or extremely starving, it's harder for you to have children. But I
Mhm.
feel like the thing with Nahe So is it may not even have been her damn fault.
Yeah.
Could have been Minchal. So we're
Oh, it
blaming
definitely
her.
could have, you
Like we're
know.
blaming her for infertility. Meanwhile, men can be just as infertile. We
Oh,
didn't get
totally.
Ari pregnant either. So like I just think that we need to be prepared. As readers, we should be more prepared and not think about ideally what we want, but what is factors and facts. And that's how I
Well,
approach it.
I will say that I don't think the pregnancy will happen at the end of the story. I just think it's going to happen later in the story, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Like I don't think it's going to be like an epilogue. I think that it's going to be later. Um, like I think it'll be like like later in the story, but I don't think it'll be the end. Does that make sense? Like I think it's going to come at a time, where I mean obviously it's going to be important to the plot, but I just don't feel like it's going to be anytime soon, but I don't think it's going to be at the end. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I will, you know what? If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, but I'm just letting y'all know.
Nah, I don't think this is going to be like an epilogue
Yeah.
pregnancy type story. I
Oh,
think it's going to happen, but I just think it's going to happen later in the story. Cuz like you
later.
said, there's been, too many hints. There's been, there's something going on with the pregnancy somewhere. You know, I just don't think it's going to be right now, but I think it's definitely going to be in the future, but I don't think it'll be at the end.
Mhm.
Because honestly, we don't know how long the story is going to go. Um, it could go for another year, it
Uh,
could go for 2 years. I mean, we don't know.
We
Um,
gotta probably got enough material for two. I'm
yeah.
just saying, guys, I know it's not gonna be unless some crazy like early response pregnancy test falls from the sky. It's not going to happen in the next chapter. But I'm asking you, I implore you to brace yourself. And you can come back to
I'm
me
already
later.
braced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, don't
only
tell me to
wrong.
brace. Tell everybody else to
Brace.
brace. Don't tell me to brace. I've already
And that's
braced.
why we're broadcasting. Please brace yourself. I need you to
Brace
brace
yourselves,
yourself. And
guys.
I'm standing 10 toes down on it. It's not going to happen next chapter, but brace yourself because it's going to be closer than further. We don't get the ideal situation. None of this shit is ideal. None of what they're dealing with is ideal. We it's going to happen
Mhm.
sooner rather than later. So you are later rather than sooner. I'm sooner rather than later. And study buddies like, well, shit.
That's right.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Oh, well, I know we are getting close to the end of this particular, episode. So does anyone have any final thoughts about the Beom family? I know we kind of strayed from our topic a little bit, but I'm not mad at that. I feel like this is all kind of interconnected anyway. But do we have any final thoughts or predictions on what's to come?
I think it's Teju, but runner-up, Director Baek. I look forward to finding out, hopefully tomorrow, who is the culprit for sending the goon squad. But yeah, Gainem hasn't disappointed me yet, and I love that about Gainem. So let the good times roll.
Yeah, I think we're gonna find out who sent the order and how much panic there's gonna be amongst them. But guys, I had a fun time talking.
Me too.
It's always a pleasure. That's one of the things I like about doing this podcast is just, us just talking about what we love. So I like it that we get together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And sharing the madness and share love.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. I think that's where we can end it off for tonight.
Yep. Well, it has been a pleasure as always. So thank you for tuning in. We do have live chapter discussions on every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have our Discord server, Withered Flowers. The link to join will be in the description. Please give us a like and subscribe. And we thank you for tuning in. So goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.